I am knocking these out. Okay, so let's talk about Bell Collective, season 3, episode 11. Okay, so Gucci and her daughter D are having a full-on conversation of delusion. If anyone was pressing charges against So Gucci, you would have a problem with it. So therefore, keep that same energy. Understand that So Gucci talking about this is the proper way of things to do. I'm gonna do it from my proper way. Girl, you are a lie from the liars of the lie. You instigated the fight. You ran up on her. You guys are mutually responsible for this fight. How dare you go bring charges? And I'm gonna keep it a buck. If it was me and my fight, and if I was the daughter of JJ, do you know how I would never talk to him either? Because how dare you co-sign on this wife? Unbelievable. I have nothing to say about that. The only thing I will say is that D and Zay, Lord have mercy, with the names. Anyway, D and Zay are having some issues with their relationship. And I'm gonna be honest, like, look, when you first have a baby, I know that people who have not had a baby will talk about how shady this is when men cheat and how relationships go awry and all this other stuff. And I listen to the commentary and my brain agrees with them. My heart is like, men shouldn't cheat, absolutely, but and there is no but to that. That's a hard stop. But the fact that relationships go through some major upheavals when this baby comes, absolutely correct and accurate. When you're pregnant, see, you don't even know how it's going to go when you're pregnant. Because like when I had my first child, when I tell you that I loved my husband's scent. Like I could live in his skin. Like I wanted to be up under him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like he was intoxicating. When I had my son, I didn't feel the same way, but I wasn't repulsed by him either. Like I know some women who were absolutely repulsed by him, repulsed by their spouse when they were pregnant. So you never know what your body, what your everything you're going to go through with your spouse. Some husbands aren't turned on by women who are pregnant. My husband absolutely didn't have that issue, but there are some people who are like, pregnant women are not attractive and all of that. So, and then once the baby comes, you're so occupied and your body is still taken over when it doesn't feel like your body is taken over. Like, I mean, he doesn't see that your body is taken over, your mind is taken over, like everything is still taken over. And so you're going, and then your emotions, like, I mean, I was so depressed. I mean, I was thoughts of like killing myself, thoughts of walking away. Like I would cry just to go to because I couldn't go to the dentist. Like he didn't make it back in time for me to leave to the dentist. Like I was looking forward to going to the dentist, but it wasn't even about the dentist. It was what it represented to me. No freedom. And all of the lack of freedom to move about, like I'm stuck taking this kid with me everywhere. Like it's a lot. And after the first month or two, it gets really bad because people don't come over to help you like that. So, and not along with getting looking at your body doesn't look the same, it doesn't feel the same. Then move the same. Like, to this day, I still struggle with sit-ups. Like, granted, I know I need to work out, and I get that. I'm working on it. I promise you, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm not doing my best effort, but um, I could not believe the difficulty it was to do a sit-up after I had the baby than before. Like, I could do a couple hundred sit-ups easily, no problem. And then to do just 10, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in pain. Like, it was like your stomach muscles are different. Like, everything changes. So I get where you're dealing with you, then you have to deal with this relationship. And I look, keep it 100. And me and my husband were not married when we had the first kid. I don't know if we would have made it as boyfriend and girlfriend, because it's easy to undo your life as a boyfriend and girlfriend than it is to undo a marriage. So there's that. Not to say that I'm glad that we were able to figure, things out and we're together and everything else, but I'm saying that it's really difficult because of the emotional stuff, and not every man is going to be willing to, and woman, to it's easy to walk away, especially when you're in the midst of everything going crazy. Latrice and Keisha go back to the break room. Clearly ain't not near much going on in Mississippi, because we back at the same spot, but instead of punching up stuff, we are painting. So we're painting. Akeisha is having real concerns about Latrice. Latrice is so defensive. And Latrice, throughout this whole entire, she's defensive with everyone. I think the only one that she's not defensive with is herself. I mean, it's actually kind of sad to watch. I'm not the big Latrice fan, but it's really sad to watch how she puts up a facade about her husband, and she's absolutely being dogged out in every way possible. And he's willing to dog her out in front of whoever, whenever. And I feel like this season is much worse than the other two seasons. And to see her on interviews, the Carlos King interview, where she's just like, I love my husband. It's like, girl. And you have to ask yourself, like, I know that you married this man for money. Keep it 100. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Oh my God. Is it worth it though? Like, really, is it worth it? Because that's my big question to you. Is it worth it? I don't know. She's not willing to listen to Akeisha. Girl, and I can tell you, I'll be here for you too. Girl, Akeisha is not a battered woman. And I actually do believe, out of all these women on the cast, actually, I believe all of the women on the cast minus Alucci would, if she was honest, would put their pettiness aside. Even Marie, I believe even Marie, even would put everything aside and hold her and help her out if she wanted to. But I don't think that she realizes that they would do that for them because she's so defensive. And look, you can fight for your facade of a relationship, but I mean, you showing up on camera with marks on your arms. So Latrice and So Gucci, they have this community event. She's talking about this community event. She's still upset over Latrice. Aye. Letitia's saying that about Latrice's husband leaving, and she actually feels like she wants to talk to her about the fact that she's leaving, that she left. And I'm like, ma'am, you were late. Everybody else was about to leave too. You were late. You came at the end. Come on time. Latrice, they were just talking. They were walking. I think they walked 2 miles. Yeah, well, I don't believe that. Latrice and the husband have the worst interaction. Talking about they signed. She was excited about signing the contract. And when he said, because he's upset. Now, I can understand when it comes to signing a contract and not telling your spouse and how this could affect the money. But if he's not going to be financially responsible for it, then, well, you're going to be financially responsible if you're married. But if you're not, but how often do you bail her out? I think that's the question. Like, if you're not bailing her out, then what's the problem? When he said, I'm wasting my time talking with you, I'm wasting my time being with you, I was like, well, wow. Tell me how you really feel, mister. Wow. And she's up here talking about being equal. She wants to be equal with him. He doesn't want equality. Like, I don't know what more this man has to say. He does not think that you are his equal. He thinks of you as a child. Anyway, and then she goes out and she's like, he made a statement because she starts crying and he's like, if you don't get your way, then you cry. I think that she's also embarrassed because all of this is on film. Girl, I would not film with him. He is humiliating you. Now, if you're going to film with him and get all of this on camera so that you can have a good case for a divorce, then I'm there with you. But if you're filming this and with, in all honesty, thinking that you're going to have a successful marriage after filming this, and you are bugging. Letitia's talking about this brunch tour, which makes no sense. This interview on the news, I hate how Letitia talks in the interview. I feel like there comes a time where you can talk like, okay, girl, like you can, and I know that you shouldn't down who you are to be with people, and I'm fully aware of that in regards to code switching. But I also feel that this is not the same. You can talk, I think there's a way to still be outgoing and comfortable and still be you without acting as if you're doing an interview with a Carlos King, where you're like, yes, honey. This is the regular news, and I want to take you serious. I want to believe that you are brokering $1 million deals and not living in your mama's house. And in order to do that, I think that you have to code switch a bit more. So I hated that interview. She wants Marie to be on the panel. They get into this argument that I don't understand what this argument is about. The argument is going back and forth. Like, for example, when I was saying girl, I would never say girl in an academic setting. Like if I was at a conference giving a talk or something, I'm not gonna say, yeah, girl. And if I do that, it was on purpose, but it's not in my regular interview. When I interview for the news, I don't do that. Like, I'm actually trying to be professional, and I just find her stuff not to be very professional. This argument over Latrice lied at the last, and they had this huge blowout at the last brunch. Marie wants Letitia to apologize after it became apparent that Latrice did lie about knowing these people who were trying to investigate Marie to get some of her businesses shut down. I think that's the reason why I didn't really like Latrice, because I thought that that was a bridge too far, like trying to report her to certain boards so that she can get some of her businesses shut down. I thought that was a little low down. And then Latrice claiming that she didn't know them, and then eventually it came out that she did, and she was involved in it. And Marie wants Letitia to apologize for defending Latrice. I think that's where we're at. It's weird that that's, I mean, I think a better thing is that this is the second best thing that you can get from saying, I don't want you to be her friend. And Marie is not going to, I mean, Letitia is not going to stop being Latrice's friend. So Marie is going to get at least apologize for her hurting me, for believing her over me. Anyway, so then she asked about this townhouse. Letitia and Glenn are back together. They're dating, but they're not living together. This leads me back to, where are you living? Because if you're not living in the townhouse, you're not living at Glenn's house, then why in the heck did you have that meeting with your mama last time, talking about, since we haven't seen each other, don't you live there? Like, where do you sleep at night, Letitia? Okay. Anyway, Latrice and her mom are talking. She hadn't been home in a week. She's going to say, I'm not going to go back for another week. Mom's like, I would have punched him. She's reflecting on the fact that she should not be calling him daddy anymore, or zaddy anymore, because it had allowed her to pull her past trauma. She's a different woman now. She needs to be a woman in this marriage. And I was like, okay, I love how you're coming into this ideology, but I'm gonna let you know that I don't see how your husband is coming into that at this point for you as well. So you may feel this way, but he ain't feeling the way that you are feeling. He wants you to be what he always was, what he married, a young, kept girl. Okay. So Gucci and JJ are at this giveaway. The JJ's daughters came. I wouldn't have came. I would have chucked up the deuces. Tamara comes for like a few minutes and leaves. She got to go to work. They do these news interviews. So Gucci and Latrice, which is interesting because Gucci is still trying to say that Latrice set her up. After last week, you had a whole thing and y'all supposedly squashed it. And this week you acting like like none of that happened. Girl, get out of here. Latrice and Letitia talk. And Letitia, I appreciate this conversation, but Latrice is so defensive. She is not here for you. And Letitia's like, I am concerned about you. And she's trying to hammer this home. Like, look, when she's like, I don't think about y'all when I go home. Okay, so that's how you feel as a friend then, ma'am? Me and you were friends and you don't think about me at all. I'm trying to mentor you and everything else and you don't think of me. Like, that's how we're going to go. But I appreciate that Letitia didn't go to that length. And she's just like, look, he is disrespectful. And I hope that you would think of me if Glenn disrespected me the same way that he disrespects you in public. Like, it's so obvious now that nobody can ignore how he treats you in public. He's disrespectful this way in public, then what is he doing to you in private? And that's the kicker that I still think that next episode, Latrice is still going to be defensive. Oh, he's good to me, girl. Let me tell you, a good man is not going to tell you that he's wasting his time on you. A good man is not going to stalk you and hem you up on camera. A good man is not going to degrade you in public. So miss me with this good man argument. On that note, I'm done. And I will see you in the next one. I'm doing Love and Marriage Detroit. And then I'm going to do the Meg too. And then tomorrow I'll do Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, bye.